Greetings and welcome to Infodome. As Michael Bay's directorial debut turns 20, how much do you know about Bad Boys? Today we will go behind the scenes of the first two Bad Boys movies and share with you some lesser known facts about the making of these two films. Number 1. An earlier, somewhat different version of the film would have had different stars headlining. This early project even had a different, less catchy title, Bulletproof Hearts. Disney, the studio behind the project at the time, was attracted to Dana Carvey, thanks to his recent successes with Wayne's World and Wayne's World 2. While Carvey was interested in the project at first, a Las Vegas outing arranged by producer Don Simpson convinced the comedian to back out. So it's thanks to this outing that stars Will Smith and Martin Lawrence have made the films what they are. Number 2. The film's production was extremely grueling for Michael Bay due to script problems and budget limits that often meant Bay would only get a single day to shoot action sequences that would have taken 4 days of work on more lavishly funded projects. Number 3. Tia Leone was accidentally knocked out by Martin Lawrence's stunt double. She recalled, "I ended up in the hospital at one point. It was the AK-47 under the jaw that got me. I wasn't on proper mark when the stunt guy hit me with it. My legs went over my head and I landed flat on my back. I didn't have much memory at that point. The director, Michael Bay, freaked out. I started to cry because I never thought that the chill of Hollywood would be so close to my face." Number 4. Even after the rewrites, Michael Bay banked on the comedic prowess of his lead actors to keep the movie afloat. Many exchanges were born on set, especially the more contentious discussions. So, for instance, an early argument between their characters involving Lawrence's slow driving escalated to a point of complete improv after Bay prompted Smith to taunt Lawrence. Additionally, one of the film's best remembered jokes, so Smith requesting that pack of tropical fruit Bubblicious, immediately after disarming a gun-toting cashier who assumed that he is robbing the store, that was Will Smith's idea. Number 5. According to Michael Bay on the DVD commentary, he had a fight with Will Smith over the ending. 3 days before they shot the ending, Will agreed that he would say "I love you" to Martin Lawrence. The day they were about to shoot the ending, Will changed his mind and didn't want to say it. Michael Bay fought with Will for over a couple of hours about why he should say it. By the end of the fight, in complete frustration, Michael told Will that he didn't care anymore because he'd only had about 15 minutes to shoot the ending by this time. Or he didn't have an ending. When the scene was shot, Will finally says "I love you" to Martin, and that shot appears in the final cut. Number 6. The opening scene, where Mike and Marcus are held up by two carjackers, was shot in Los Angeles weeks after principal photography had been completed. Columbia and Michael Bay wanted a better, more comedic introduction to the two lead characters than what was in the original film. Number 7. Today, most equate Michael Bay with huge budgets that can threaten to break a studio's bank. However, back then, the budget for this film was only $19 million, which even in 1995 wasn't considered that huge a sum. It makes a bit of sense as it's rather grounded, but it still seems a bit much, given how Bay was already getting into his larger-than-life mentally for filming. By the time the movie got to the big shootout at the airport hangar, the budget was already pushing the limit. Thus, for the finale, Bay had to reach into his own pocket and pay out $25,000 to get a replica hangar built just so they could blow it up in a blistering gunfight with plenty of stunt work. It actually impressed the studio how far Bay was willing to go to get the movie made on his own terms and finish it well. It worked out as the film was a smash hit, and since then, Bay has had no issues getting a big budget to make his action pieces work. Number 8. It is surprising that Bad Boys is the least favourite of Bay's movies. He's blamed the script, the rough budget, the pressure of the studio, and many other factors. He's also said he's not happy with it, thinking he could have made it much better today. True, it was his first major movie, and thus he had a learning curve, but Bay feels that the movie didn't click today with bits like the car chase following a club fight or a body flying out of an exploding plane. Of course, it's mostly as he thinks he could have made it even bigger, and thus better, with more explosions and such. He actually badmouths it quite a bit, which is surprising given it was the movie that made him a big Hollywood name. Number 9. For years, Don Simpson and Jerry Bruckheimer have been one of the most successful producing pairs in Hollywood. With Beverly Hills Cop, Top Gun and Crimson Tide, they were adept at making big action pieces, box office smashes. However, Simpson was a very complicated man, saddled with a love of drugs and drinking that was extreme even by Hollywood standards. When Bad Boys was in the planning stages, Simpson was meeting with some executives in Las Vegas when he embarked on a coked-up tirade that got him in a major hot water. The project was almost cancelled because of him, and Bruckheimer had to step in fast, arguing it deserved more life and he could make sure Simpson didn't mar it. To that end, Simpson was almost totally banned from set and had only minor involvement with the final film. Simpson would be found dead just 4 months after the film's release of an overdose. Number 10. Bay was clearly not happy with the car chase scene after Club Hell. Naturally, he blames the budget and how little time they had to shoot it. The 3 or 4 decent-sized explosions just weren't enough to quench his thirst for action, and at one point he says, "It's kind of hard to comment on these action scenes," then proceeds to mock snore. Number 11. While filming the shot of the Cobra driving out of the back of the plane, the vintage vehicle crashed off camera. Bay explains this is why most of the shoots involved in the car are shot tight with close-ups of Caro driving it. A new Cobra was finally attained before they had to film the end car chase scene. Now let's move on to Bad Boys 2. Number 12. During the freeway chase scene, Michael Bay attached cameras to a couple of stunt cars and asked the drivers to crash into the falling cars in order to capture never-before-seen shots. Number 13. The Fast and the Furious sequel was relocated to Miami for some exciting car chases and other escapades. As fate had it, Too Fast, Too Furious was shot at the same location as Bad Boys 2. Indeed, the 2 films were even shooting car-related scenes at opposite ends of the same park on the same day. It's quite remarkable given how much alike they were, and both would become big hits in the summer of 2003. Of course, Fast and Furious would end up inspiring far more sequels, while Bad Boys still only has 2, but it's fun to think how closely linked the 2 franchises were. Number 14. When Marcus shows his badge to the exterminators in order to commandeer some of their equipment so they could get into Tapier's mother's house, if you freeze the picture you can read on Marcus's badge clearly. He is a lieutenant with the Miami Police Department. In the original Bad Boys, in 1995, when Marcus holds his badge up to the peephole for Julie to look at, you can see it says Sergeant, so clearly in the intervening 8 years, Marcus was promoted. Number 15. 2 different Ferraris were used to make this film. The 2 models have very little external differences. The car you see most often is the more powerful 575M Maranello. However, Michael Bay's 550 Maranello was used for really daring stunt work. Number 16. In a quick look at the high school yearbook, Mike Lowry's middle name is Eugene. Number 17. And, according to the yearbook, Mike's extracurricular activities included the chess club and the World Geometry Society. We hope you enjoyed this video. If we missed anything, let us know in the comments below. Before you go, please subscribe to our channel and hit the bell to be notified about all future videos. Until next time.